I started this by asking about your role in Singapore. I'll end this with a question about Singapore again. Yeah. I understand that Conergy is a partner with Singapore Polytechnic in running a solar farm on the building complex. Yeah. What do you hope to achieve with that project?
Yeah, I mean, we recognized here in Singapore, we see Singapore first as an excellent hub. Yeah, it's a perfect headquarter. You have very educated people. But on the other hand, we want to ensure also that we have the right engineers here, because we want to build up an energy backup here for our offices around Asia Pacific, because we see that the know-how is here. On the other hand, we have to ensure that, especially with universities or schools or other institutions, that we ensure that we make a professional energy, let's say a professional know-how transfer. The NUS is quite good in this. They have good people, and we installed a small system so that we can analyze some of our products together with students there. And for sure, we hope that a few of them are interested now to work with us, so that we can start the education a bit earlier and find the right people.
Right. Now, if Singapore is not going to go into renewable energy in a big way, and you mentioned this point during the forum, are you at risk of losing all these talents that you're going to train up?
I mean, this is what I mentioned during the panel. There is a lot of discussions about funding. Is Singapore ready? And I mentioned during the panel two things. You have to ensure that you separate these two things. One is really the manufacturing part, and the other one is really the application, the installation, the market size. You have to separate this from this point of view. It is probably perfect, a good place to manufacture modules, but when you export all the modules and do not install a single one here, it is difficult to find the right people also for manufacturing. If you think about the application part, the installation part, the sales part, it is quite clear that good engineered, good salespeople, they want to meet their customer. And when you do not have a customer here in Singapore, it's quite clear that they go to the place where the customer is. So I'm in discussion with a few of my engineers to keep them here. One already mentioned very clearly in his personal development plan, he wants to go to Germany. He wants to meet a customer. And this is what I mentioned during the panel. If Singapore's strategy is to be the manufacturing hub, this is okay, this is good, it's great. But on the other hand, we try to look always into countries where the market is, where the client is, where the consumer is. And if this is not in the same country, this is probably a challenge for the future and a challenge for us to keep the people.
Now, if you cannot keep your people, will you follow your people and then, like, say, relocate to Korea or Shanghai and get your headquarters?
I think probably the definition of the headquarter is a bit different. So is the headquarter a headquarter to consolidate our Asian Pacific figures and to use also the perfect banking system, the perfect infrastructure? Then, for sure, this is a head office. But I see a head office a bit more. I do not want to have a head office where I never met a customer. And when we think about that, we want to have salespeople here and engineering backup and the engineering solution developed here, application in R&D and application, then I think the definition of a head office will be different, yes.
Okay. Well, maybe Australia would be quite interesting too, right?
Sure. I mean, Australia for sure, they have a new government now. They signed immediately the protocol, the Kyoto Protocol, really one day after the election. We see there is some interesting prospects there. For sure, it's also an interesting place. Yeah.
So let me ask you the final question. Is there some kind of discussion going on in Conergy about whether this is the right place to put your headquarters?
Sure. It's very clear that if we look into the future, if we look in our general development of the company, you have to ask permanently, am I on the right place? You have the discussion normally every year, which is quite normal. Okay. And this is the question is the discussion about if this is the right place ends up in 1 second and you say yes, done, or I have to find arguments why I'm here. And if I have to find arguments, then I'm always in a defensive position, and this is not what I want.
Okay. On that note, thank you, Stefan.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.